I know more about Star Wars than you do. Actually, Darth Vader never quite said, Luke, I am your father. He said, no, I am your father. A lot of people wish that they could have seen Boba Fett's face, but they didn't realize they could see Boba Fett's face in Cloud City. There's a scene inside Cloud City where he plays Lieutenant Shekel. You see Lieutenant Shekel when Leia says, Luke, it's a trap. Lieutenant Shekel comes up and drags Leia off. Hey everyone, I really don't know that much about Star Wars. I thought I'd just be a little funny today and nerd it up a little bit because, as we all know, or maybe you don't know, today is the 4th of May, and as we all know, May the 4th be with you. It's been an unofficial declaration of Star Wars Day because May the 4th, it sounds a lot like May the Force. You get the joke? And there's of course the joke that May the 5th is Revenge of the 5th because of the whole Cinco de Mayo celebration thing involving alcohol. May the 4th be with you, Revenge of the 5th. So after a night of partying with your Star Wars nerdy friends, you will have the Revenge of the 5th the next day if you party a little too hard. May the 5th be with you. I don't know a lot about Star Wars, but I did learn some interesting facts that I'd like to share with anyone who's willing to listen today. For instance, did you know that Yoda was almost portrayed as a monkey? Or did you know that C-3PO has a silver right lower leg, his shin calf area, throughout A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi? And did you know in the original script, Luke was supposed to put on his father's mask and say, I am Vader, and turn evil? George Lucas changed the storyline because he knew most of his fan base was children, and he wanted to keep it a little more positive, happy ending. Those are just a couple of the interesting facts I'd like to share today, but I'd like to give you a little background about my history with Star Wars. I was born in 1983, and growing up as a young man in the 80s, me and my older brother Don, we absolutely loved watching the Star Wars trilogy. Episode 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. And as kids at the time, I think our favorite ones was A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. But now in my more mature adult years, I have to appreciate Empire Strikes Back the most. It had the most amount of tension, the most amount of action, and a lot of variance, and it was more serious and dreary. It was just a better film overall in retrospect. And as a child, I really liked watching the progression of Luke growing up as a kid off the farm and slowly learning the Force and becoming one with his lightsaber and his newfound abilities. And I also really liked Ewoks as a young man because they're just so adorable and cute. And when you're a kid, they're adorable and cute, so you're into it. But yeah, me and my brother, we watched those films over and over and over again on our VHS cassettes and just have a blast with those. I also have to say that it was really cool having good, positive female role models as a young man. My mother was awesome. She was a Boy Scout leader for us growing up. And also having strong female characters such as Carrie Fisher playing Princess Leia was really cool to have like those strong female role models as a young man. Princess Leia didn't take any BS and she took charge when she needed to. Carrie Fisher was just an amazing person too. But anyways, back to Star Wars. Did you know that the original actor for Darth Vader, David Prowse I think his name is actually banned from any and all Lucasfilm events? Apparently he burned many of the bridges with not only George Lucas himself, but most of the other people at Lucasfilm. I'm not talking about James Earl Jones, who played the voice of Darth Vader. I'm talking about the actor who played Darth Vader physically. An interesting fact I just learned today. Did you know that A New Hope almost caused a war in Libya? At the time of filming, Libya was ruled by Gaddafi. And Gaddafi was very upset with the military vehicle on the border of Tunisia and Libya and asked for it to be removed immediately before a conflict erupted. The military vehicle in question was actually the Jawa Sandcrawler. It was the vehicle that Luke purchased C-3PO and R2-D2 from in the movie. Needless to say, George Lucas agreed to move the vehicle immediately because the last thing he wanted to do was cause a war, and that just wouldn't be good for his movie debut. Because after all, George Lucas had to take a pretty hefty loan out in order to fund A New Hope. Did you know when they filmed Return of the Jedi on the Force Moon of Endor, Peter Mayhew, he was the actor who played Chewbacca, had to be escorted around when he was in costume by people with bright orange shirts on and bright orange vests on. These chaperones were there specifically to help protect him against bear hunters and also, believe it or not, this is confirmed, from people who were scouting and hunting Bigfoot. This has been confirmed by Peter Mayhew himself on Reddit. You can go check it out for yourself. Pretty amazing. Did you know that Sir Alec Guinness, the fellow who played Obi-Wan Kenobi himself, did not like the script of Star Wars at all? He didn't like any of the scripts for any movies. He especially did not like his lines. He was very much interested in Shakespeare and a classical actor, and he felt like his character didn't have much substance, was too vague, and that the movie just wasn't well written at all. He despised it so much that one time when a child asked for his autograph, he agreed he would only sign his autograph as long as that child promised to never watch any of the movies ever again. Real sad story. I think the child ended up crying and he signed the autograph, but wow. That's amazing. This one was quite shocking for me. Did you know that at no point whatsoever in Return of the Jedi did anyone ever mention the word Ewok? Pretty amazing. I didn't believe it myself, but it turns out that it's true. The word Ewok didn't actually come out in the mainstream public's minds until they started selling action figures and other assorted merchandise that identified those little furry creatures as Ewoks. During the filming of Empire Strikes Back, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, both of them ended up partying with members of Monty Python and the Rolling Stones. That would have been a very interesting party to attend for sure. So in 1979, Carrie Fisher rented a townhouse in London from Eric Idle, one of the members of Monty Python. And Eric Idle at the time was out in Tunisia of all places, filming a little film called Life of Brian. One night Eric Idle came back to his townhouse in order to meet up with Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and party. And he brought back a drink that he would give the extras that would help him work longer. Carrie Fisher drank the drink and then she started calling it Tunisia Table Cleanser, jokingly. Harrison Ford and the Rolling Stones end up coming over later on that same night. They all partied that night, and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford both had a very early call the next morning. So after a whole entire night of partying and getting absolutely no sleep whatsoever, they showed up for work the next day to shoot. And what was the scene they were shooting? It was when they first arrive at Cloud City and meet with Lando. So if you watch that part, you can see them looking a little tired and very, very smiley. I thought that was pretty wild. Anyways, I don't want to sit here and pretend like I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than I really am. These were just some interesting facts that I thought were worth sharing with anyone who's willing to listen. There's been a lot of other films that have come out since the first 3 original films, but I'm still a loyalist to the first 3 original films, and don't tell anyone, but I haven't really caught up with all of the new films at all. I just haven't bought into the hype very much. I think Jar Jar Binks kind of killed my childhood and my drive to watch all of the new films. I'm eventually going to catch up on them. I know there's some really, really good ones, and there's some that are kind of like, eh. But that's the reality of it. I really appreciate the original Star Wars films, and I appreciate where George Lucas has taken the franchise throughout the years. I'm actually kind of disappointed that Disney now owns the whole franchise and takes it in their own direction. But at the same time, I don't lose sleep over things that I can't control. Or at least I try not to. That, and I'm really not that hardcore of a fan. I mean, I like it. It's a really good franchise and a really good story, and a big part of my childhood. But Jar Jar Binks, what a bad idea. And I think that's a wrap for it today, folks. Thanks very much for watching. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, please know that I post a lot here on YouTube. I post every single day of this year, in fact. Not only is it an experiment of sorts to see what it's like to post every single day, but I also have a lot that I want to communicate, and it's also more or less a showcase for other aspiring content creators out there. They can see the upsides and the downsides of what it's like to post every single day. I'm also hoping to demonstrate an increase in the quality of content as time goes on. Every single time I post something, I learn something new and different. I'm a very chaotic poster. I'm all over the place. I try to organize my content in my playlist section. And one thing I do consistently is post a new circus and flow arts tutorial video once a week, every Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on whenever it gets done. So if you want to learn how to juggle balls, or juggle clubs, or do the subtle art of contact juggling, where you roll crystal balls around your body in a very, very deceitful and magical looking way. Or if you want to learn how to spin things on your finger just like this, we call it pediddling in the circus and flow arts industry. You can do it pretty much with anything flat and wide like ring binders, server trays, books, stuff like that. Or you can even learn how to use devil sticks. Devil sticks are among my most favorite circus and flow arts props, and the one I've been performing and using for the longest period of time. All these things are a wonderful way to get exercise, improve your circulation, your coordination, your concentration, your dexterity, and so much more. Alright everyone, that's where I'm going to leave you. Thanks very much for watching this video to the end. I appreciate it very much. And from myself and my faithful manager, Lucy the cat, who you probably can't see right here because she's blending in with the couch, we'd like to remind you all to never give up, do your best, stay true to you, and as always, be amazing, folks. Just be yourself. That's all you gotta do. Thanks for watching, and good night. Oh, and may the 4th be with you.